Hello Internet. Today we have this 4090 from MSI. This one's a gaming trio. Looks like no one had been tampering with this thing, but sometimes these stickers can be fake. I see a little bit of scratching here. Customer said, very strange problem. It seems to work, but it's crashing under certain conditions, like 45% TDP. I don't know, it's all weird, doesn't make any sense. I'm guessing he's either using some adapters that are janky, I don't know, or maybe we have a half-dead driver MOSFET that allows the card to work but crashes it out. Let's see what the power meter says, and the power meter says 2.2, so we are good. I have no reason to suspect any kind of blown driver MOSFETs at that amperage, so let's go ahead, power this thing on, and see what it does. Oh, it does nothing. It does not even post.
And we are done. Short is gone. We did an amazing job on the soldering, so we're gonna let the customer know what we did. We're gonna invoice and mail this back to the customer and remove the goggles.
So, the story of customer saying, hey, 45% TDP, it seems to work, and then it crashes, does not check out. And I thought, man, this would be a
Special day.
where we dive deep into the inner workings of power monitoring stuff and power stages and all sorts of good stuff that these new 4090s come with. Never had any issues with power on a 40 series, not yet anyway. And I think we need to shut this thing down because the motherboard decided to completely ignore me pressing F8 to boot from the USB drive. Regardless, I think we're gonna have problems with memory channel A1. I say 95% it's gonna be A1. 4090s are my favorite cards to repair. Super easily fixed. And see, you know what that means? When we close this, we're gonna shut down. That means that the memory test has passed. As a matter of fact, I'm going to plug in the HDMI cable back into the card, and it should post. And if it does, the reason why it posts is because the card warmed up a little bit and things kind of expanded, and the contacts, wait, that didn't help. Okay, let's try again. And the contacts established in places where they weren't there while the board was cold, but very interesting because it did not post. So let's go back into the memory test real quick one more time, and hopefully this time we get an error. Or maybe if I plug it directly into the motherboard and let it sag, then we will see it. Either way, we're just gonna have to try everything that we can until we get it to do what we want it to do. And what we want it to do is to give me a fail. Perfect. Second time is the charm. What do we have? Yep, exactly like I thought. A1. Okay, close this, shut down, and let's go and take this thing apart. Whoa, this thing is missing a screw. I was like, why is this thing so loose? But it's actually missing a screw here and it's missing a screw there. So the whole contraption is kind of loose. Oh, he's missing a screw here too. Jeez, that's a lot of screws, like 4 screws are missing. And I cannot just put any screw. They have to fit. Alright, looks like that fits. Okay, that's good. One more. I'm gonna put a screw in here too. So what you want to do is you want to rotate these blades, and there's a gap between each third of a blade. So right there, see opening, like there's no opening here, you keep rotating it, there's an opening, and then that's how you access that hole. Let's take this thing apart. We're gonna start from the front. We're gonna undo 3 screws here. So there's 1, there's 2. Oh, look at that, look at these things. These are from the Founders Edition that I fixed earlier today. I need to go open up that box and put them in there before it gets shipped out. The problem we're having here is with this chip, and the problem is likely coming from not the chip but from under the core, given the fact that we've seen some damage. But the good thing is the board is almost perfectly flat, so at the very least we don't have to flatten it out and make it look like the Earth, because you know the Earth is flat. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and prep this thing over for a reball and reball the thing. And before I forget, I still need to bring back that 3090 and put all these little stupid magnetic caps on before it gets shipped out.
I'll be back in a minute.
Alright, reball is done. Check for resistances really quick. Memory is good. 1.2, 1.8, 12, 12, 12, 3.3. Pack's good. Let's power it on. Why do I check 12 volt? Even though there's no 12 volt anywhere near the core. And the reason for that is sometimes things go haywire after reball. So it's always advised to check. 2 amps. I'm trying to score a 3D printer from Bamboo Labs, the H2C. That printer will allow me to print high temperature parts, which I often need for various projects and things like that, which my regular P1S will not be able to print because I think it's like max 80 or something on the nozzle, not sure. Maybe even less, 260. What am I doing? I don't need that paste. I need some Chinese boogers. Yes. So currently I'm only able to print ABS, PLA, PETG, you know, things like that. Flexible GPU, I think. Yeah, I hardly ever print anything with that anyway. But I do need small things, and I need them from hard plastic. So from plastic that can withstand 150, 200C for various purposes. So we'll see. I sent them an email saying, hey, I'll showcase your thing to all of my viewers on both of my channels in exchange for your device. And hopefully they will take the bait, though I do not do a whole lot of showcasing of 3D stuff on this channel, even though a lot of things that I do, a lot of things that I have are 3D printed, such as this case here and a lot of other things. I'm still working on completing this 5090 Founders Edition holder for the PCB, so that because in here I can just put the standoffs, put it on there, plug the riser, put the heat, the cooler, and I can do some testing. But with the 5090 Founders Edition, it's very problematic because of these stupid boards, and I still need to figure out how do I go about adding the actual display ribbon. This one has a liquid damaged pins, so I can't really use that, but I can still use it as a design. And thankfully that 5090 that I showed you in the earlier videos that the customer got scammed with, he donated that to me so I can continue on, so that I can harvest this from that, and as well as piece of that, probably, I'm not sure. And still have the board, even though it's got a huge hole in it, it's still usable for the development of this thing. And what else? Oh yeah, this one I made for the 4090 Founders Edition. Founders Edition boards are very weird and they're very complicated to mount, because I can do like one mount here in this hole, and that's it. The board's gonna rock. So I need something that's gonna hold it here and here at the very least. And so what I ended up doing is I made this. I'll show you how it works. Pretty simple thing. And hopefully, the only issue with this is that this is PLA. It'll melt if I do any kind of soldering. So that just kind of snaps in place like this, right there. And you can see how it kind of holds on the very edge of the board like this. Yeah, so I'm using these little corners here to do that. And so on the back, we actually have access to the 1.8 volt circuit here, as well as chips over here, and nothing here really needs any access for work purposes, but the key areas are accessible. And the issue is if I start soldering anything like that, things are gonna melt, and the whole thing will just go to waste. So, and I'll have to reprint a new one. But if I will be, if I get that printer, I'll be able to print this with a high temperature filament, much stronger, much thinner, maybe, depends. And I'll have no problem using this frame for its intended purpose. So yeah, so flip it this way, flip it this way. It's the same height both ways with 1 millimeter difference. It's gonna work really well. So either way, we are done with the repair. I think I'm gonna go ahead, clean everything up. Yes, put some pads on there if original ones are bone dry, most likely. that be the case. And that will be it for this repair. Hopefully I'll see you later. Goodbye.